just educating myself and always learning, because I think I want to be I want to be the kind of person that is prepared when life throws something else at me.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. This is Taka again. Hope everyone's staying safe and doing well. Today I have Bela Tang. She's an aviation consultant from Oliver Wyman Kavok in the US. Just to give everyone some context, Bella and I met last year in the fall in our senior year as RAs. And since then, we've been very good friends. At least for me, she's one of my very close friends. And to this day, she's been a big part of my life, helping me through tough times as well. So really appreciate that and really happy to have you here today, Bella.
Yeah, I'm honored to be here on your channel.
Awesome, thank you. So I think this this videos particularly is going to be really helpful for all the college students out there who are, in general, just inspired, are probably going to be inspired by Bella's character and charisma. To be honest, she's one of the happiest individuals I've met to this date. So that'll be pretty exciting, as well as she's been an RA and taken on many other roles in college as well. So we'll dig deeper later in the video, but let's get right in. Bella, could you please take us, the audience, through a little bit of your life journey?
Okay, so I went to an international school in Macau since I was in grade 4, and then once I graduated, I went into Purdue for university. And when I first started, I started with a communication major, but then I wasn't feeling it, I guess. So I was just searching for other majors that kind of have my passion, and then see how life takes me. So after my first semester as a communication major, I changed to an organizational leadership major that Purdue offers. And then so I had to do a little catch up because obviously I started a semester late. So while I was catching up, I caught up a little too fast and realized that with my track, I was going to graduate within 2.5 years of being in college. And I want to have the full college experience because I don't want to graduate by the time I'm 20. Yeah, by the time I'm 20. So I was like, okay, I'm going to have to look for another major within that could lead me into graduating on time. So I looked into majors and I found aviation management, and I was like, oh, I love traveling, and I feel like if I just join into that aviation career path, I may be able to work in a career where I could get to travel a lot, like working in the airlines where you get flight benefits and stuff. So I picked that major, and then I caught up, and then I managed to graduate 4 years. Actually, in my junior year, I got accepted into the 3+2 program, which is the 3 years. Well, technically, the fourth year in your college career is a transition year. So, yeah, so I got accepted to that. Then I graduated, went to an internship, went back to my master's, got my master's, and my master's is how I met Taka. I was a resident assistant, and then we just did training together, and then that's how I became friends. So that's how my college career went. And then I obviously, during my college career, I went to a lot of career fairs and I applied for jobs. And that's how I got to my current job. So before this current job, I had an internship with Ernst& Young back in Macau. And that's how I realized I want to be a consultant. And so when I was looking into my last career fair, I was looking into hopefully consulting firms that the aviation industry offers. And so Oliver Wyman Kavak happened to be there, and it was their first year hiring students, fresh out of grads. So they used to hire only experienced hires, and then now they're hiring fresh out of grads, and I was one of the first 6 that they have hired. So it was exciting, and then now I'm working in Dallas Fort Worth.
And how's that been so far?
So far, it's been challenging, I guess. I like my job a lot. Personally, I love it, love it, love it. It has been challenging me intellectually, and like my coworkers have all been very experienced. They've all been very knowledgeable and very helpful and patient with me. Because obviously, fresh out of grad experience versus real life experience is 2 different things. All I have is book knowledge and I guess my tech savviness that people have been talking about. And what they have is real life experience from the industry. So them being super patient with me when they teach me, and then whenever I have questions, I know that I can ask them without an issue, has been really helpful. So yeah, I really love my job. I love my coworkers. It's been great.
Awesome. I'm interested to know, so what exactly does an aviation consultant do?
So essentially what an aviation consultant does, it depends on what focus area you're in. So currently I am in the maintenance program. So we do a lot of implementation. We are a lot of in-house work, depending on what client needs, obviously. So I think if I am not wrong, because I just started a month ago. So it's a month or two ago, I think. Yeah, it's a lot of in-house work. So yeah. So helping them implement what they want to like kind of look into that.
2 hours later.
Cool, awesome. I think let's get straight into,
You just glitched. Cool, awesome.
I thought you were gonna say something more or expand, so I gave you a couple of seconds. That's okay. I'll put this in the footage as well. Anyhow, so with all your cool experiences so far, I think the audience is dying to know some of the advices that you would give them who are going through their college careers right now, especially with the additional, circumstances with COVID and so on. So what are some of the advices that you would give to current college students?
This is an interesting question because when you first asked me about it, I was a little nervous to answer that. You know that? Because I was like, I just got out of college. I don't really have much experience, right? Getting right out of college. So what can I advise someone who is in college when I don't really have much experience in real life myself?
Yeah.
So I had to definitely give it a couple of thought. I think my first advice would be definitely find your tribe. Like you can find friends. Like friends is one thing, but finding family in in a area that you aren't really, I guess, familiar with definitely helps you a lot when you're adapting into a new environment and like transitioning from high school to college. Because I was an international student. I'm no longer a student, but I was an international student. So like being so far away from family, it is hard to deal with a lot of things where once you have parents to help with and now you're there to deal with it alone. So being able to find friends and people that you call family, I think is people that you lean on and people that you basically celebrate life, or like when you have hardships to be able to talk to. I think that is very essential. You can have friends, but like having people that you call family and like people that you know will not leave your side regardless of whatever happens, and like if you guys fight, you guys will still be there for each other. I think that's very essential to just basically find a tribe. Another advice I would give is have plan B. Like life doesn't always go however you want it to go.
Yeah.
Like having plan B doesn't set yourself up for failure, but it gives yourself a safety blanket. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is have a second, like a fallback option just in case something goes wrong.
Yeah. So definitely. And then my another advice I would give is definitely invest in yourself. I truly am a believer that knowledge is not something that someone can take away from you. So like if you, instead of going out all the time, like with your friends, maybe limit it to once or twice a week instead of saying 4 times a week. Just being able to use that money to buy yourself a book or like invest in a hobby that you have. Like if you're interested in horticulture, like spend money on a horticulture class, like, or spend money on Spanish class or karate class or kickboxing class, something that will benefit you as a whole. I think that is definitely essential to as a human being, because you could have I guess you could get kicked out of college, or like you can lose your job one day, but at the same time that knowledge that you have gained for yourself, it is yourself. You're your best stock, you're your best commodity, you're your best investment. You're just investing in yourself in general. So I think that is also very crucial too. Yeah.
Wow.
As a college student, yeah.
Are you going to be the next Warren Buffett?
I don't aim to be a Warren Buffett, but I would not be opposed to it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the third point you mentioned on investing yourself is quite important, and I totally echo that. What would you say to a student? Let's say they come up to you and they say, they don't know where to start. When you tell them invest in yourself, what would you tell them?
If you do not know where to start, I would say joining clubs in school is always a good way to go, because first of all, they're free. Second of all, you get to find a lot of like-minded people that could like help you kind of find your guidance kind of thing, I guess you could say. So I think that would be a good place to start.
What were some of the organizations you joined and some guidance that you were able to get?
Um, some organizations that I joined, I think freshman year actually. Freshman year, I joined an organization called Boiler Gold Rush. I was a team leader. So essentially, I just kind of helped new students settle into Purdue. And then I became an team leader for international students because I have been through what they have been through. That homesickness, that not knowing what to do, that feeling of needing to get a phone number and then having to sell a bank account. And then I knew that when I start, I just want to be there for those new students. I want to be their shoulder in case, anything happens. I know that they can come to me.
Yeah.
Like, since the parents are all far away and my parents are far away, like I know that feeling of not knowing where to turn to if I need advice for something. So I just want to be there for those students. And me and my BGR students still keep in touch really well. So that has been like a good way of like me just trying to find what I want to do. Then once I once I got into my aviation major, I joined the club called Purdue Pilots Inc. And that's where I got my pilot's license. And that has
Mhm.
been very helpful. I think that has been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And to, I guess, just kind of investing in yourself. Because when you're a pilot, you get a certificate. So this is something that no one can take away from you because it's a certificate. So it is something that I have invested in myself financially. Like you have to pay for that. So financially speaking, you have to actually invest in that.
Hmm.
But essentially, I've also like ever since I was young, my parents would never ever say no to me buying a book. They would say no to me buying a new top, they would say no to me buying new toys, but they would never ever say no to me buying a new book because they believe that books are knowledgeable to someone, even though if they're like fiction or non-fiction, regardless, they would always let me buy books. So I would always buy books for myself to read as well. So I think that would have been like something that would be, that's how I have approached myself when I was in college.
Yeah. Okay. And when it comes to books, what was your most, let's say, mind-opening book that you've come across? Maybe for the people who are looking to start reading books.
The most mind-opening book that I've read was called Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell. I think I've recommended that book to you as well, right?
Yeah, I read it as well. Yeah.
Yeah, that was, I think it just, that book was great because it kind of like lets me see life in a different lens. Like I didn't realize that, to be a successful sports player, you have to be born as like most people are born in a certain month, or like the 10,000 hours of practices to sharpen a skill. Those are the things that like, or actually just being born in the right generation to be successful in something. I think it just opens my mind to see things that like sometimes life isn't just because you're living in a certain circumstance or something, therefore you are obligated to be successful in a certain way, because sometimes you just have to be lucky enough as well to be able to do that, or hardworking enough in his sense, like for the 10,000 hours. So
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, yeah. I think that was a very insightful book for me as well. The 10,000 hours was quite mind-blowing when you do the math. It's around 20 years or 10 to 20 years, I think,
mhm.
to become essentially an expert in that field. So again, I think that just goes back to hard work and resilience. The last thing I think I'd love to know, and I think the audience would probably be interested in, is how do you stay such a joyful character? Like, how are you so joyful all the time?
Um, I try to stay around positive people. Like I know when people don't really vibe with me, or like if I don't really vibe with that person, I would try to stay away with them, like from them, just so that I can keep. I fully believe that who you surround yourself with reflects of who you are,
Hmm.
and like also like it kind of vibes with you. So like if you surround yourself with happy people, you will obviously be happy yourself. And then I've also experimented with meditation. It has been it has been interesting. It was a lot of fun. It kind of calms my mind because I don't know if you guys can tell, like my mind speaks a lot faster than my mouth does, so I talk really fast because it just kind of like jumbles out. So like meditating kind of calms me down a bit. And then obviously work out. I've been doing kickboxing lately, so it kind of stress release a lot. So besides me working, on top of working, I believe that being able to talk to my friends a lot, since we're in the middle of a pandemic as well, I FaceTime my friends a lot. I lean on my friends a lot. Like I cannot stress over the fact that I lean on my friends and family a lot. Like just this morning, I had a call with my friends from home. I had a call with my mom, and now I'm talking to you. So like I lean on my friends a lot. I'm telling you right now. And so like whenever I'm sad, knowing that I have someone to talk to and just express those feelings out and not follow them in, I think it is very crucial to like having a positive mental health. So yeah.
Wise words. Extremely wise words. I think if you guys have been following, by the way, the previous videos as well, for example, Pierre Pak, Michael, Hikaru, and Carol, all of them have have a common theme here, that the people you surround yourself with is going to influence really who you are now as well as in the future. So really think about the people you're currently surrounding yourself with, as well as think about where you want to be in the future and who you could be surrounding yourself more with right now as well. So I think that's really important advice for sure.
Yeah, so I remember back home I was hanging out with a friend, and then so she's a nurse, and nurses have a very intense schedule, but she always makes sure that whenever she has a paycheck, she'll pay for a new, a new what's it called, a new course. So she took horticulture course, she took more courses for anything, literally anything that she can think of, she would take courses for it, so that she tells me when life comes to you, you are prepared for life. And so I believe that is very essential, and I have taken that advice to heart as well. Like so I've been like, I've been taking kickboxing classes, I've been essentially just listening to podcasts a lot, just making sure that I am knowledgeable in what has been happening around the world, and like, just educating myself and always learning, because I think I want to be I want to be the kind of person that is prepared when life throws something else at me.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah. Guys, keep in mind that in not real life, I guess when you talk to her in person, she speaks a lot quicker. And it goes to show that depending on the environment, she's also extremely flexible and is able to adapt quite well. And I think that's one of the advices I would give from my side is, depending on your surroundings and the environment, and as well as the people who you're interacting with, I think being able to not be a chameleon, but being able to adapt so that the other person or the audience feels comfortable interacting with you is very important. And it's a skill that you can definitely develop. It takes time for sure. It's a journey and it's a marathon. But the small things that you do every day, whether that's trying to listen, letting the other person talk more than you talk, and so on, it's going to build up over the long run, and you'll be able to develop these types of habits. And these soft skills are definitely, you can develop them through, like, if you practice. It's not something, an innate ability that you just are born with. So
And it's always that when someone gives you advice, just listen to it. You don't have to take it. But
yeah.
like if you think it benefits you, listen to it. And I don't know, have you been looking at all these videos where like people like never take no for an answer? Like for like, all these like businesses, they always say never take no for an answer. And I never believe in those. I think you should listen to that no and see why they said no to you, and then maybe like I guess adapt to it, and then kind of like change it up a little, and then change, hopefully you can either change that no to yes, or like if that no is because of you as a person, then like that is a useless no. But like if that no is a constructive no, then I think someone should listen to it.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. Putting that into context of this current, advices that we're sort of sending out to you guys, definitely, things like what Bella shared, which the three key things were, investing in yourself, having a plan B, as well as finding your tribe, your family in college. Take those as a grain of salt. It's what worked for her. It's also what worked for her personally. And you have to sort of, it's up to you, and you are the one that decides whether that advice is applicable to you, yes or no, and that you only ever find out unless you actually try it. So it's kind of like a test, trial and error type of thing. It's an experiment, right, that you actually have to do. So yeah. Say something.
What am I supposed to say?
No, I think that's all we had. That was some very juicy advices. So thanks again, Bella. I know you're super busy working on weekends as well. You're a busy consultant back in the US, so stay safe. And if to end this off, can you tell everyone to make sure to like and subscribe? Okay.
赞同翻团一个短评 and subscribe to his channel. Yeah. Oh, is this here or here? Is a button? I don't know.
Either works. All right. Till next time, guys.